Hello again. Welcome to A Taste of Honey. Today, I want to talk about something a little more serious. Decisions. I don't know about you, but sometimes decisions can be very hard to make. I think all of us have times when we have a decision to make, one or two that are difficult. And I know some people, at least a few people, that always have trouble with almost every decision they make. But it can also be a situation like my husband and I recently had, where we had weeks and weeks of decisions. The first decision was deciding to downsize from a very large house that we've been in for many years to a house less than half the size, and where it would be and all those kinds of things. So that was a very tough decision in many ways. But in the process of moving, well, there was all these decisions about what to keep, what to give away, what to donate, what to sell. And sometimes I had to make split-second decisions about whether I was going to sell it, give it away, or whatever. Or maybe if I was going to sell it, how much I should sell it for. Things like that. So today it's about one of those decisions that I made. And again, much like the hall tree you read about in my last blog, well, this was an heirloom piece, something I inherited from my grandmothers. My great-grandmother first, then my grandmother, then my mother, and then to me. And if you heard a little creak, that was a clue. Because it's the rocking chair I'm sitting in. Yes, this rocking chair has to be at least 150 years old, maybe two. I'm not quite sure, but I know it's quite old, and yet it's in very good condition and really comfortable. Well, as you might imagine, since our new house is more contemporary in style, I was struggling with how do I keep this special piece. Of course, I offered it to our children, and they couldn't use it in their house or didn't have a place for it or whatever reason. I understand that. So then I had to figure out, what am I going to do? Am I going to donate it somewhere? Am I going to just give it away, sell it at the estate sale? I didn't want to do that. It's too special. At the same time, I was trying to create a new look to go with the new look of our house, our new house. And I didn't want it to detract. So I looked very carefully throughout the whole new house, and there I spotted this little niche, actually in our master bedroom. It kind of juts out. The wall doesn't go straight across. It juts in like a little niche area. And I thought, that might be the right place. So I put the chair there, and I knew it was perfect. Just perfect. Not only did the chair look good there, but as you see, an antique lamp that I was also struggling with. Now, it's not an heirloom piece. I bought it many years ago, but it is a very nice piece made in Italy. And I think of it as a her, she. I give her a pronoun because to me, it's like a sculpture. And I couldn't quite let go of her either. So she was perfect. She has a little lavender in her dress, and it matches the purple lavender in the chair. This chair, I don't think has even been reupholstered in many, many years, and yet it's in good condition. So anyway, moving on. I mean, I know I'm kind of rambling here, but I hope you get where I'm going with this. Because the next thing I discovered when I saw it all together in this place was it's the perfect spot for doing my morning devotions. It's comfortable, cozy, private, and I can sit here comfortably and read God's Word and contemplate what He's leading me to at that moment. And then it also occurred to me the first time I started doing that as I sit here rocking and hearing the creak of its chair and feeling the smooth, comforting rock that it has, it reminded me of my great-grandmother and my grandmother, my mother, who had a faith they passed down to me as well. So it isn't just about a piece of furniture anymore, is it? No, there seems to be this spirit about it that's still within, maybe stuck into the upholstery of it. And it reminds me of the faith that was given to me and handed down through my grandparents. Now, I didn't know my great-grandmother very well. I do have a very vivid image of a few minutes, a little piece of a memory of my grandmother and my grandfather, Pa. But the more important thing is they all had faith, a strong faith. So it also reminds me of what it says in 2 Timothy, when Paul, the Apostle Paul, is saying, he writes, "When I call to remembrance the genuine faith that's in you, which dwelt first in your grandmother Lois and in your mother Eunice, and I am persuaded that's in you also." You know, I think you would all agree that we shouldn't make material things too important in our life. And sometimes it's harder than others not to let that happen. But at least we know that sometimes God can even use something, a material thing, to lead us back to our roots of faith, like this chair. I think I should stand up and let you see the chair a little better, because I'm sort of hiding it from my body. So I'm going to stand up and let you see it. And I'm going to tilt the camera down. Do you see it? It's a beautiful chair. You know, it also reminds me that in my book, The Buzz at Chicky Pie's Cafe, as you know, Mel, who founded Chicky Pie's Cafe, was originally inherited that cafe from her grandmother, Millie. And Millie had a faith, a strong faith. And when you got to chapter 3 on page 19, it talks a little bit about that. And you see sprinkles of it throughout the story. And I believe I read this to you already with the narrator's accent. But I thought I would do that again today because it fits so well. It wasn't long after Mama Millie learned to cook real good that she started inviting her friends to come by and visit me. She was a wise woman, my mama. But I think the most fun part was how she done it. She cooked so much food it smelled like a pot belly full of good eating, and people just start following that wonderful aroma right to my front door. Pretty soon, folks was coming here every day and lining up at my door to buy her food. So she nailed the sign above my door that said Millie's Diner. Then my mama got down on her knees right by that door and she prayed to her Lord. She asked him to guide her and help her with all the cooking and the business. And that was way back in 1963. It's a good thing she done that, because even though folks start coming here to eat, sometimes they bring their troubles too. And years later, when Mama Millie passed and her granddaughter Mel take over and change the name to Chicky Pie's Cafe, folks still bring their worries in. That's just a little bit of that. So there was a heritage that I wrote into this book too. Now here's something you didn't know, and I didn't know till well after I wrote this book. You see, just a few months ago, in May of 2024, this year, my husband and I took a trip to South and North Carolina. And in South Carolina, we visited an aunt of mine, a great aunt, my mother's only living sibling. And she's 94 now, still quite sharp up here and doing well in her health. And we had the best time. Most of her children gathered around her too when we got to see them again, and some of my cousins and my brother, my older brother. And we had a wonderful time, a little reunion of a few days, getting to catch up with one another and see one another again. and telling stories, you know. And one of the really amazing and shocking things I learned during one of those times was that there was a relative of mine, I believe it was a great aunt, and I don't even remember what her name was, but I found out through one of my cousins that one of my aunts also had a restaurant many years ago with the name of Chicken Pies Cafe. Now, I was just floored because I swear, when I wrote this book, I just made up that name because I wanted to create a story and I wanted to create a place about a cafe that made chicken and pies. So, Chicky Pies is what I came up with. And I had no idea that one of my relatives, my distant relatives, had a restaurant with a very similar name, Chicken Pies, because she made chicken pot pies. And as you recall, Elise introduces a chicken pot pie to Mel at some point, didn't she? And I did a demo of that. So that just was so interesting to hear. So I not only inherited an antique chair, I inherited a rocking chair that calls forth memories of the faith I inherited from my great-grandmother and grandmother and mother. And apparently I inherited a title for my book too. And I didn't even know that. So you never know where a decision might lead you and how even a piece of furniture like a rocking chair can lead you into the roots of your faith, even ways that truly rock. Well, I hope you had a good time today, and I hope you'll come back again because the next YouTube, Taste of Honey, will probably be another pie, a sweet pie. And I'll give you a little hint what kind of pie it is. Lily introduced it to Chicky Pies Cafe. So come back again, and what do they say in the South? Y'all come back again, you hear? Have a good day and a blessed day. Bye.